Alright guys, so today we're going to check out the Impal X3s. Now what makes these so special is, first off, they come in at around $70, but they have active noise canceling and some pretty impressive sound. But let's go ahead and check out some of the specs and what it is you get inside the box. Now these do use Bluetooth 5.0, and I couldn't really find a whole lot of information on what codecs that these play, but I did notice that they have AAC and SBC playback just by testing them out on my phone. And one thing that's really impressive about these is the connection. I didn't notice any kind of dropouts, and then as far as watching movies and videos and playing games, I didn't experience any kind of lag. Now that all kind of depends on the device that you're using, because do know if you're using an Apple device, you might experience a little bit of lag when it comes to using the YouTube app. But that's not a fault of the earbuds, that's just something that kind of goes on between Apple and Google. Now one thing that's very impressive about these, considering that they have active noise canceling, is the IP rating is also an IPX7. So these are completely waterproof, which I never see in a pair of truly wireless earbuds that has active noise canceling, because most of them seem to top out around IPX4. And as far as what you're getting inside the box, you are getting the usual small, medium, and large silicone ear tips. I did notice that the ear tips that were on them right out of the box fit me fine, so I didn't have to go and try any of the others. And I'm happy to say that the charging cable that is included is a USB-C cable. And speaking of the charging cable, the battery life is another thing that is fairly impressive on these, because for a pair that has active noise canceling, with the active noise canceling on, you can expect to get around 6 hours of battery life on the earbuds, where you're going to get around 24 hours total using the case. Now I would have liked to have seen a fast charge option, that way if you pick up your earbuds and they are dead, you could get a little bit of battery life by a quick charge, but these sadly don't offer that option. But moving over to looking at the case, first thing you're going to notice is it is very small. And I really like the textured grips on the side because that keeps the case from feeling slippery. Then on the bottom you can see your USB-C input, and then your indicator lights are located underneath the lid. That way you can kind of gauge about how much battery life is left on the case. So moving over to looking at the earbuds, one of the first things that you're going to notice is it has the stem style design that kind of looks like Apple's AirPods. But one thing I do want to point out is these are extremely comfortable. It's a pair that I was able to keep in my ears for long periods of time and kind of even forget that they're there. And to me that's impressive, especially with the stem style design, because usually I can feel those on the outside of my ears. Now these do have touch controls, and I'm happy to say they control everything. You have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards. You can even press and hold the right earbud for 2 seconds to turn your noise canceling on and off. And I've seen a lot of other reviewers say that they don't have volume control, but simply by tapping the right earbud one time turns my volume up, and tapping the left one time turns my volume down. So speaking of the noise canceling, because that may be one of the main reasons that you would be looking to buy these, don't expect these to have the same noise canceling levels as, let's say, the Sonys. Now the Sonys come in at $230, but I would say would block out about 90% of sound, where these coming in at $70 seem to block out around 50%. Now another thing that I want to point out is when you switch it from noise canceling mode on to off, you will notice that when the noise canceling is on, the volume will take a slight dip. Now it's not anything serious, but there is that little bit of change. But what I think is great about this is it doesn't alter the way the earbuds sound, because a lot of other noise canceling earbuds, as soon as you turn the noise canceling on, you will notice that the music has a huge change in either the bass or the treble, or it just tends to get a little muddy, and these don't do that. Now for you guys that like to use your earbuds individually, sadly here you can only use the right by itself. Now as far as the microphones on here, there's not anything special when it comes to the mic quality. I think that it does a decent job, but given the fact that these have that high IP rating, I think that kind of affects the microphones from sounding a little bit clearer. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
Alright guys, so here is a mic test using the Impal X3s. Again, I think it does a decent job. It's not going to blow anybody away, but it'll definitely do the job when it comes to phone calls. And so now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played in the background, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound and the volume. Volume, these get extremely loud. So for you guys that like to blast your earbuds, you can definitely do that with these. But the huge advantage to buying these is going to be the sound overall. Because even taking the noise canceling out of these, this is some of the best sounding pairs that you can find for under $100. And for you guys that are bass heads, this is some of the most bass heavy earbuds that I've seen under $100 as well. This has that impact that you can feel the vibrations. Now that's kind of impressive considering that these are earbuds. But what's also impressive is that bass doesn't kill the mids or the highs. The mids still have a very forward sound while still sounding really natural. And to me that's important because when they start to push mids a little too forward, it starts to sound a little bit processed, and these don't do that. They still keep that natural tone, and it's just pleasing to listen to. Now the treble of these are definitely turned up. Some people might find them to be a little bit harsh or a little bit bright, but I think that that is a very good balance considering the bass is turned up the way that it is. It's a very nice sound overall, but it is extremely dynamic. Now, as far as the sound stage and the sound imaging, these aren't going to sound extremely open because of the dynamic sound, but it still sounds like you're in a larger medium-sized room to a smaller large-sized room, so it is still doing a really good job there. But what's impressive is the fact that it still has that instrument separation and that very good detail when it comes to instruments. I mean, the reason I say that is when it comes to dynamic sounding earbuds or bass heavy earbuds, at times you get that muddy or congested sound, and these never fall into that category. Now, as great as these are, I do have a few cons with these. One, I would have liked to have seen the left earbud work independently like the right does. I really would like to see the volume level stay the same whether you turn the noise canceling on or off. This is a minor complaint because I'm still happy that it doesn't affect the sound. And then the only other complaint I have is I would have liked to have seen these have a fast charge feature, and that's just because almost every earbud that I try now offers that feature. Now, if you're looking for a pair that has noise canceling that's going to block out everything around you, this isn't going to be that pair. It's doing a decent job of blocking out noise, but its main focus is on the sound and giving you a little bit of noise isolation. And for that, I think it's a hell of a deal coming in at $70. But guys, that's my video on the Impal X3s. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.